Hi, earlier today I ran a little coaching session with one of my subscribers, Ikram, who came back to me after my last video and asked if I could help her with a current challenge that she's got. So have a watch, you might find this quite interesting. I think it's something that most of you will probably benefit from if you've had a situation where you thought the customer was going to close, everything was going absolutely brilliantly in your mind, but then all of a sudden the customers turned around and said they're not keen anymore. So how does a customer go from that hot to that cold that quickly? Watch this video and find out. Take care. Right. Hi, Ikram. Nice of you to join me. Thank you. You have a great question with regards some help, a challenge that you've had recently within your sales process and your activity with a client. Now, I think that this could be a challenge that other people could benefit from hearing a little bit about, so that whatever I have to say, you might help other people too. So would you be so kind as to share with us, and you can by all means please leave out any personal details that you don't feel comfortable for everybody to hear. By all means change names, say it, she, that, whatever. As long as we understand the challenge, I think it's okay.
All right. So there has been this prospect that I've been working with for the last, five months. And this I checked everything with this prospect to make sure that it falls within our ideal customer persona. I went through the timeline. His timeline was initially to have a solution implemented in his institution sometime by October 2020. And then things changed later because of Corona, obviously, to the end of this year. I also checked the need, how urgent it was. This customer was vocal about some concerns, like he was afraid of the product to be flawed in terms of breaking in certain aspects. Okay. So I suggested a certain customization of that aspect, but he was not willing to pay more for that. So that brought us back to a certain budget range that he wanted to stay within. We agreed, okay, he has this budget and he needs to spend it in this timeline. And we decided to go with the meeting later on. I made sure also he was the decision maker, because he's the one who would decide, hey, I'll pay money for this if I like it and if it's what I'm looking for. And then we went with the demo, and we did the demo on site for him, where he was able to touch the product, to test certain things, and he was vocal again about certain aspects like the braking. He was not sure. So what we said is we would help them with that aspect by giving a trial, that he can actually try the product in one of his trainings, and he can see if this product will break or not, because we were sure that the product will not break, but it was our way to comfort the prospect. So the reaction was, he was very excited. He was very happy about the product. He was like, yeah, everything is fine. I established that he was looking at other solutions, other competitors of ours, and he was not really into going with them because he said it was way above the budget he had. And for him, it did not make sense to spend that much money, especially if he wanted to invest in like 4 units of this product.
Sorry, how much was the budget?
So his budget overall was 50K for the solution. And then, yes. Yeah. And then he ideally, he said that the 1 unit would cost him 10K, 11K would be fine, because that would fall within his budget. And we were like, okay, that makes sense. And that's where our product more or less fall within. And then the next step was, after the demo, that we would schedule the date for his training. When his training would be, we will go there, we'll take the product, and he will test the product. So okay. Eventually,
you're going to give him. So I'm just going to just stop you there for a minute, please, if I may, just to make sure that I have the correct understanding. So you have a client. He had a 50,000 euro budget that he wanted to spend on presumably some equipment that he could use, your product specifically, that he could use for his business, in his business, where he would implement your product to help in training.
That's correct.
All right. And the reason for his latest requirement is because the previous product that he's been using up until now hasn't really lived up to standard.
Yes, so he had this product for like 5 years or 4 years, and the product has been breaking in certain parts, and he was not able to run his training as he was supposed to. So that's why he was looking for something new, something that is sturdy, something that he could actually sustain the training he was doing.
Okay, great. So in terms of your qualifiers, what you needed to make sure that was in place before you could even invest time into this, what were those qualifiers for you?
First, it was the need, because that was what driving the whole conversation. If we had the solution, and if we could actually adapt the solution for what he's looking for, if it's necessary. The second thing is the timeline. So the more urgent, the better. So since his deadline was 2020, end of 2020, that was perfect. Okay, we could close the deal before the end of the year. And then third, it was the budget, of course.
Okay.
So
he had a budget. He had a good timeline that fits for you.
Mm-hmm.
He had a need.
Mm-hmm. And he was a decision maker, because he was the top, he was the head of that institution. So
okay, and that's really important, to make sure that you are speaking to the person who holds the purse strings, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. So let's just dig into that. Now, what's happened here is the challenge has been that you've got so far down the sales process, but it stopped just before the close. In fact, he doesn't even want to trial your product anymore all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was quite of surprise, because I was trying to get in touch with him, because we agreed to have a call after the demo, like a week after the demo, so he will be back in the office and we can see his calendar, coordinate and everything. Mm-hmm. And then to my surprise, he ghosted me for like up to 2 weeks. I was ending up in his voicemail. I sent emails. I saw that he was opening the emails twice, 3 times, but he was not replying. Eventually, I got a hold on him and I said, okay, so how does your calendar look like? When could we do this? And then he changed completely what he said during the demo. Wow. So he went from being excited and wanting to test it to saying, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to test the product anymore, because it looks like it's not going to hold up. It looks great for something that's not entirely what I'm looking for. And he said he doesn't waste his time or mine by testing the product. And that was my first surprise. And the second surprise was when he said he thinks the product is still too expensive, after we established the budget that he had and how the price fit within that budget. And then I was a little bit like surprised, because I was like, okay, I checked everything. I made sure everything went according to plan. And even so, to add a little bit of twist to the story, that while talking to this customer, Jake, he actually forwarded somebody else to us who was also within our customer persona. And this person also, so this woman contacted us and she said, I was referred by Jake about the same product. It looks like an awesome product and I have a demo, We did the demo and everything. But the deal stopped there, because she was like, I cannot take this forward until I have Jake's final feedback about it, to see if we should go with the deal or not. So now I have like 2 deals that stagnated, because the first person, who is Jake, decided that he was not sure anymore, that the budget, like the price was not really, it was too expensive. And then, he doesn't want to waste his time anymore.
Okay.
That's basically the challenge I am facing, because first it got me wondering, what have I done wrong? Because I thought I checked everything. I was clear about the next steps. I thought everything was going smoothly. And especially when I got the reference of the second customer, I was like, okay, this is going great. I did not close the deal. I'm already getting a second deal. And then, I was thinking,
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions, and I just want to know if you have covered enough angles in the conversations that you've had with this customer. Okay. So you've given me 4 points of qualification. One was need. 2, you had the budget holder. 3, you were within the price range. Yeah. And what was the 4th one? Just remind me.
Decision maker.
Had that?
Yeah, like I made sure he's the final decision maker.
Yeah.
The timeline, the budget.
Timeline, that was it. Okay.
Yes, the timeline.
So we have those 3. Okay, so I'm just going to tie in some questions with that. Okay. So my first question to you is this, the budget. You said that he has a 50,000 euro budget. How much of that 50,000 euro budget was allocated to this particular purchase?
Well, I assumed it was for this project, because when we talked, I was like, okay, is there a budget range you're trying to stay within? Have you already allocated the budget for this? He said, well, overall I have 50K. So I would like for the whole thing to stay within 50K. But yeah, I didn't really dig deep into if it was only for this or for something else.
Okay. When your customer says to you, overall, I have a 50,000 budget, a 50K budget, my immediate thoughts would be, what else do you need to buy? All right. From that 50,000, because you need to, because if there are other things that this customer needs to buy, you then have to find out how important on that list, on that shopping list, is your product. Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because quite often, customers can just shop around just to know. There isn't really, is there a real compelling reason, a real compelling need for this person to buy this product now? And until you really know that, you cannot work out the probability of this closing in your pipeline. Okay. If he then said, but I've got 3 things I need to buy, so I have to decide which of those 3 things I'm going to put the money into. So you've got now, all of a sudden, your probability has gone down in terms of closing this. And that's why it's really important that you understand how likely is this deal going to close. And therefore, what do you have to do to make yours a higher priority on his list? So then your focus has to shift away from price, more to value, more to what you can do in terms of service. So it's just about understanding where is the shift. How do you make your product more important to this customer than the other things? But let's just go on to the product for a minute. You said that the need was something to do with a product that wasn't sufficient already, that wasn't meeting the needs of the customer.
Yeah. All right. So he used a competitor product for a couple of years, I think 3-4 years, 5 years so far.
Yeah.
And I think he paid double the price for them. And his main challenge with them is that it did not hold up or sustain the kind of training he was doing over and over again on that.
Right. Okay. So in your understanding, he needed this, right? He needed it, and you had a good deal on it. And as you just said there, yours would be half the price of what he'd paid previously, and his previous product only lasted a couple of years.
Yeah, and he even got a discount. So it's kind of a desperate, I would say, step. But we were like, okay, on each unit you would order, you will have this amount of discount.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point did you offer that discount?
We offered that discount after he said, hey, it's too expensive for me. So we're like, okay, it's the competitive price, it's our approved price. But if you were going to go with more than 1 unit, as you said, it's 4 units, and to make sure he doesn't get units from other competitors as well, we're like, okay, you'll get 10% discount per unit. So that's a pretty good deal.
Okay, so you asked me right at the beginning of this video, this chat, what you want to know what you did wrong, yeah? I wouldn't, I don't really like saying wrong or right, but what I would say is that that negotiation was totally misplaced. You should only have really discussed discount once he committed to your product. He's already getting a product that's half the price of what he paid before. The product that he paid for before at twice your price only lasted 2 years. You're saying yours would last longer. What are the guarantees would you give? Because it sounds to me quality was really important to this guy, right? So what are the guarantees were you saying to this person before you dropped the price?
Well, first we gave him more information about the components that made the product sturdy, like what guarantees that this product will not break in the levels that he was concerned about. This is the first thing. The second thing is we tried to give the customization. He did not go with the customization, so we stick with the current product. And then, yeah, for the service, we were like, yeah, we have this free of charge service. It's an available service. We can help you with a certain aspect, since he was not really happy with some of the competitors' service. So we wanted to capitalize also on that, and it was free of charge. So it's something quite attractive, I would say, to our kind of customers.
Did you ask him how much he liked the service from the last supplier?
Not really. I just got it from the tone that he was not very happy, and he was very picky now about the service. So it was not really a positive experience. So I figured out that from 1 to 10, he's 1.
Okay. So we have 3 elements here. We have the price, the product, the service. Yeah. And the way that it sounds that conversation has gone is price has been number 1, product has been number 2, service has been number 3. When you're having a conversation with somebody like that, I think the sort of questions I would have asked him is, okay, so you paid twice as much as what I'm offering you this product for. What kind of service did they provide? And I would take service as a top level thing to talk about. Yeah. Somebody, if I paid that much money for a product that then fell apart and then I wasn't really given the level of service to the point where I felt I had to move supplier, okay, then I think there's 2 things in my head. One is it doesn't matter how much I pay for a product, it's not going to hold up.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think that this guy is too optimistic about any of these products holding together for a certain length of time if they're continuously right. So they're not, you know, I think he's being realistic about that. I think the thing that's probably most important is we just need to swap the price and the service around a little bit so that service became top of your conversation. So he said he had a budget. Okay, great. We talked about how you could just understand whether that budget is ring fenced for these or whether that budget is shared for other products. Also, competitors, you said he had, there's 2 competitors that he had spoken to. Is that right? Okay. Did he have anybody else in his diary scheduled to look up or speak to, or was he going to look for any more?
No, not really. He just because he had certain criteria for the product, and for him there was like us and 2 other competitors that checked these criteria. So for him now it was a matter of price.
But do you know that? Did you ask him that?
What competitors?
Did you ask him if he's going to go and speak to anybody else?
No. Okay. Because I took the competitors he told, because I thought he was at the end of his, I feel like I've been assuming as well on my part so much. But yeah, like he had these 2 competitors and us, and I did not ask him if he was going to look more. Okay. His timeline was kind of, schedule was kind of tight. That's why. Okay.
So one of the things that you could really do what everybody could do to help themselves in situations, in any meeting, is you've got to go in with this mindset of, I need absolute clarity if this person is worth my time, right? Just because this person has a heartbeat, all right, and has a bit of money, it doesn't mean that they are the ideal customer. It doesn't mean they're not going to waste your time. Because there's so many different types of characters out there and so many different customers and so many different reasons why people have meetings with suppliers. here we've got a combination of there's budget, there's service, there's the product, there's and there's just too much ambiguity around that. We don't know enough. So we don't know if the budget was ring fenced. We don't know if he's going to go and speak to somebody else, because in the time you left, he may have spoken to somebody else. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said he was happy with it. What's also happened is you've negotiated a price, a bottom price, mm-hmm. without closing the deal.
Yeah.
All right. You can't do that. He's basically got you to pull your pants down, and now he's going to take that price somewhere else and he's going to compare it and say, can you beat that?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what customers do. And you're going to go back. See, you're in that meeting, you're all excited. Yeah, I can give you that. Yeah, I can give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. We'll do a trial. Okay, great. Yeah, come back, do a trial. I've got training in such and such. He's thinking, right, I'm going to go and see if I can beat that price anywhere else. And you're thinking, great, customer in the bag. Right? Yeah. Two complete different perspectives of that meeting. Yeah. Has just happened. And all of that is because most often what salespeople tend not to do enough is be bold enough to ask direct questions, right? Mm-hmm. By that, I mean, is that budget purely for this product, or are you looking at other things? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to, when I leave here today, you're going to talk to anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Things like, so what we've got here, Mr. Customer, we've got price, we've got product, we've got service. What is the most important thing to you? Because it seems that you can pay, so many thousands for a product and you're still not getting the service. So you can lead them into bringing the service to the surface, right? Rather than burying it under all of the other kerfuffle or fronts, if you like, of price and all the rest of it. We can't really speculate why he hasn't bought, but we'll come to that in a minute. Right? We need to find out, but we need to come to that for a minute. So you've got to be bold enough to really build this jigsaw that you have, but you need all the pieces. And there's missing pieces. We don't know the budget. We don't know what is most important to him out of those three things, and we don't know if he understands how good your service is either. Right?
Yeah.
But it does sound to me like he's going to do a shop around on your price. Never, ever, ever give your bottom line price until you've closed the deal. How it goes is like this. What, you want more discount? Yeah. Okay. So what are you going to give me in return? Yeah. And they'll say, what do you mean? Well, you give me a commitment, then I can negotiate a price with you. But I need to know if the product's right and you're actually going to buy it before I can negotiate a price with you. But I promise you I'll negotiate provided I get that commitment. Yeah?
That sounds fair enough.
Yeah. So and that's really, those are the things that I would say. Be bolder, be braver with your questions. Don't be afraid to ask. There are no assumptions. You know what? People will respect you. Customers will respect you for asking questions like the questions that we've just spoken about here. And they will respect you for not just showing your bottom line before they give you some kind of commitment. Right?
Makes sense. So yes, it's very helpful, which brings us to our next challenge, which is the second deal that is very dependent to this customer.
Yes.
So, of course, this deal won't go through until she gets the feedback from Jake. And I thought about addressing the objections of Jake when calling her, but at the same time, I was afraid if he would influence her, because he will not be subjective. It's going to ruin my pitch. Not ruin my pitch, but make my pitch a little bit more challenging to do.
Okay, so first of all, when Jake referred this other prospect to you, okay, did this other prospect say the conditions under which she would buy your product? Was it linked to him?
Well, they had the same kind of training, not the same kind of business, but the same kind of training, and they were looking for the same kind of solutions. So they kind of matched in that part.
Okay. Is she willing to go ahead regardless what happens with Jake?
That's the part that I'm kind of concerned about, because I feel that she values his opinion a lot, and then she will not take this forward to her superior without having his feedback.
Okay, so one of the words you're using a lot is "I feel that," and my feel on that, I'm going to ask you now, is that you say "feel" because you're making assumptions and you don't actually know.
Yeah.
All right. So next time you think to yourself, "I feel," I want you to say, "I know," or "what I don't know yet is."
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you some questions. I want you to say, "Yes, I know," or "No, I don't." All right? That's all. Nothing else. Just that. So will this new prospect buy if Jake doesn't buy? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. So there's a question that you've got to put to her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you see what I mean? So does this new prospect have a budget that you know of?
Well, I tried to qualify that. I could not get
Not yet.
The information, so not yet.
That's fine. So you don't know yet. Don't beat yourself up because you don't know. Praise yourself for recognizing that you don't know.
It's a pattern.
Right?
So
yeah. It's
recognize
not,
the pattern.
Yeah. What it is, it's not a crime not to know. It's a crime not to find out. All right. So, and the only time you're not going to find out is if you don't realize that you don't know it and that you're guessing or filling in the gaps by yourself. You can't. So, straight away, first two questions there, you still have to ask those questions. Yeah. Do you know the new prospect's timeline?
Yes. I do know that.
Great. Okay. And have you met with the prospect, just asking?
Online.
Online, yeah. Okay, great. And
we did a demo for them online.
Okay. Is that new prospect the budget holder?
No.
Good. Do you know?
I know she's not.
Good. Do you know the buying process in their company?
No. Because what I know, she needs to take it up to her supervisor, and that's all. She's not the one in charge of the buying process, and that's why she's like kind of influencer / gatekeeper, I would say.
So at this stage, she's your contact, but not necessarily your buyer. All right. So as you quite rightly said, she's more your influencer. Do you know who the buyer is, the stakeholder?
Yes.
The actual the person who will make the decision?
Yes. Our director.
Okay. And have you asked for a meeting with both of them?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So again, don't be sad about that. Just be glad that it's something that you now know on your list you should ask for. Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't ask because I thought, okay, she's waiting for his feedback and she's not willing to take it forward. So it doesn't make sense to ask for a meeting until she gets the verdict from Jake, and then we can see how we can figure out the meeting with her director.
Okay.
But at this point, I'm kind of concerned.
But do we know if she will continue the sales process with you without his feedback?
No, we don't know. I don't know that.
Okay, that's what you've got to establish first with her. Is look, I'm not getting hold of Jake, so I don't know what his feedback is. What do you want to do? Do you want me to carry on with you, or do you want to contact Jake and get some feedback? Yeah. That would be my next step. But then I would take that one step further, and I would be bold enough to then ask, actually, why don't we have a 3-way call? Yeah. Because I'd like to hear what Jake's got in terms of feedback too. So you can use that connection to try and kill more than, one, pardon the expression, because I don't want to really kill any birds, but to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. But at least that way you can bring them both on, and you can iron out any objections that they both have there. And don't be afraid to do that, because quite often what happens when you get that situation is you'll probably find that they'll probably start answering each other's objections.
So they won't gang up on me.
They won't gang up on you so long as you don't talk to them. Just don't talk to me. Just listen more. Yeah. And you'll be fine. It happens a lot. So to summarize from my point of view here, what you have got to start doing more is questioning yourself more about what you really know and what you don't know. And it's a yes or it's a no. Don't beat yourself up if you don't know. Just be happy that you've recognized the things that you don't know. All right. So remember that. Secondly, to find those things out, be brave, be bold, ask direct questions. There's nothing wrong with it. They will respect you for it. Thirdly, never ever negotiate before you have closed the deal, because all you're giving them is a price tag to show other people. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I hope that helped.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with it.
It's definitely a thinker, so I'm gonna meditate on it. And well, the deal is still not closed yet, closed, lost, or win. So I still have some hopes to dig into it and see how it works out with this.
Okay, so we talked about what you did, what you felt you could have done better. What I'll do next, and I'll put it on the video, a separate video, is what you can do now going forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that help?
Yes, it would. Like what I could do now. And the other thing is, in case of the deal going, okay, close, lost, how can I ask for feedback and get insights? Because you could ask a customer, hey, do you have feedback for me? I was like, no, I don't have. Or yes, the price was better, and that's it. Well, it's not really it. So how can I have that constructive feedback to make the best out of this close, lost opportunity?
Yeah. Okay, we can deal with all of that. All right.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Hi. So I hope you got some value out of that. I know it's quite long, but thanks for bearing with it and listening through. Now, there is still the second part to come, and I will release that later this week. So look out for it, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care now.